taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taking things out of context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
In the context.
We have more context.
Out of context. Taken out of context.
That is so out of context.
And take shit out of context.
Out of context.
Deeply out of context.
You're taking it out of context.
No, hey, hold on. So we're gonna flesh this out because I don't want nobody saying we don't take things in context.
Clipped me out of context.
It was out of context.
It's hard for your words to be taken out of context.
The full context.
In a modern day context.
Tell me the context.
Another important reminder as to why context is so important. So,
hey everyone, it's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. Fair use disclaimer, free speech disclaimer.
I know that Brigitte Macron probably stands peeing up. Peeing up.
Candace Owens has certainly spent a lot of time thinking about Brigitte Macron's penis, even obsessing over how Brigitte Macron urinates. But that's not the best part amongst all of this drama regarding Candace Owens. I mean, she's always wanted to be famous. She certainly has stopped at nothing to get her name in the mainstream media every chance she gets. But the best part is that AmFest, America Fest, is going on right now, and Erica Kirk brought out none other than the fabulous Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj on X certainly doesn't hold back, but you got to listen to what she said at AmFest. Take a listen.
Persecuted right here in our country in different ways. So when we talk about Nigeria and other countries, know that prior administrations saw nothing wrong with that. And that's what was wrong with them. I truly feel that there are people out there who felt good about chastising Christians right here in our country. And it's kind of really, really sick. We can't let people like that be in power, you guys. That's the truth. I can sugarcoat it and laugh and kiki, but the truth is, I am here today to tell you guys that. We absolutely cannot let people who have a problem with us worshiping God, we cannot have them in power. We cannot have them in power.
Nicki Minaj for president. She's the real MVP because despite being a newly converted Catholic, Candace Owens still refuses to talk about the Christian genocide in Nigeria, which I have always found very suspicious. But it doesn't get the attention and the views that the Charlie Kirk homicide does. And before we get into the rest of the video, I want you to take a listen to Tucker Carlson talking to Megyn Kelly about Nick Fuentes, because he single-handedly helped get Nick Fuentes his platform. Take a listen.
Why Nick Fuentes?
I was in an extremely personal and bitter war with Fuentes like 3 weeks ago. Fuentes was attacking my father and my son and my wife. So, I was really mad at Fuentes, and then I did an interview, and just out of the, I was so mad it like popped out and I attacked Nick Fuentes. And then I got all these calls from people saying, do you know anything about, I don't know anything really about Nick Fuentes. And it was like, actually, Nick Fuentes is the single most influential commentator among young men. And then it turns out that he has no advertisers. Ben Shapiro actually tried to shut him down freshman year in college, and it didn't work. So I was like, maybe I should interview Nick Fuentes to hear, like, what is this actually? And I thought it would be controversial. I didn't think it would become what it's become. I interview people who are hated, and in some cases, like, demonstrably evil, and I ask them, why did you do that? And what's your account of yourself? Like, tell me who you are. What do you believe? That was the first thing I wanted to achieve with Nick Fuentes. Like, what is this? And second, I wanted to say something very specific to Nick Fuentes, which is, I think it's totally legitimate to criticize any foreign country. It is totally illegitimate and very specifically unchristian to attack people for their DNA.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization.
He compared Candace Owens to Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda for the Third Reich, the Nazi regime. And yes, that letter is true because I have it and I have gone over it in detail, reading every word in a video. But Israel Prime Minister Benjamin, aka Bibi Netanyahu, is the one who was comparing Candace Owens to Joseph Goebbels. And it's somewhat accurate. But these wolves hide behind God and the foundation of free speech. But in my mind, you're free to speak whatever you want, but you're not free from the consequences of what you say, knowing that it's conspiracy, unfounded, and false allegation or defamatory. Because when you have a platform like Candace Owens, every word you say can be defamatory. And yet, as somebody that is on YouTube, she gets away with saying things that other content creators would get violated for because she has bigger advertising, marketing, and sponsors in her pocket. So YouTube algorithm promotes her. And the more her name is out there, good or bad, the more spotlight she gets on her show, on her channel, on her platform. But when it comes to free speech, you're also not free from the consequence of learning and knowing when to shut the hell up, when not to speak. And with 20%, 1 out of every 5 Americans, out of 340 million Americans, being on some form of psychiatric medication, that is a very vast number of people who are more vulnerable to believing the things that they see on YouTube because it looks like a legit production. It looks like high quality news. What they don't see is it's a setup in somebody's spare bedroom or basement or attic, that they have a decent Canon camera and they're recording a show, quite like the news does. And these pre-recorded shows are edited and then they are uploaded to YouTube and they are published to go quote unquote live, even though they're not really live. So that's a vast number of people who can be easily manipulated or more vulnerable because of their mental state. And Tim Pool touches on this a little bit, and I really want you to listen to this.
The problem is she's driven a bunch of regular people insane. They're now suffering from paranoid delusions, and this is not me being cute. We actually did a show on The Culture where we had psychiatrists and psychologists, and I asked them, if someone believes things that are not real, but they believe it because they read something that convinced them it was true, what do you call this? Because typically when we say someone's deluded, we think their brain is misfiring. And they said, it's still just paranoid delusions. Candace is injecting paranoid delusional states into people's brains. The question then is, why is YouTube allowing it, propping her up for so many people when what she does is clearly against their rules? Now, let me be clear. I am not calling for Candace to be censored in any way. I think sunlight is the best disinfectant. However, it is particularly difficult to disinfect the garbage when YouTube shadow bans and shuts you down and puts her on the front page. So how do you combat? There's the question. Why is she allowed to say things that YouTube has clearly banned? To get started, I guess.
Candace Owens recently said on her show, and she has said it before, but she was very adamant this time that she does not care about left or right, black or white, about the Trump administration or politics. And I told you all along, Candace Owens is not a politician, and she's not political. She has been hiding behind conservative values and the conservative movement to garner herself fame and attention, and therefore a platform. That was her goal, and she did everything in the last several years to reach that goal, no matter the cost, whether she's fracturing the conservative movement, the Republican Party, Christianity as a whole, whether she's paid opposition or a paid psyop. Candace Owens is pushing conspiracy theories for money and fame, nothing more, to benefit herself financially. And that's a pretty big motive. People have killed for less than $100 in a wallet or a bottle of Vicodin. And that's what brings me to this next video that I want to share. As always, all creators are credited in the description box down below. And I really need you to watch this next clip because this is proof of the psychosis and the state of Americans living in fear, anxiety, and paranoia. And people like Candace Owens and her content helps to fuel that. But the sad part to me is Candace Owens and her entire YouTube channel is likely the exact kind of content that Tyler James Robinson was watching when he became radicalized and justified in his own mind that killing anybody was not only appropriate, a good decision, but to go through with it. And Lord, forgive me for saying it, but God forbid anybody who watches Candace Owens having nearly 7.5 million followers on X and almost 6 million on YouTube ever do this to another human being because they watch her content and they become radicalized and hurt somebody. And her free speech isn't just talk. It has people living in fear, paranoia, and anxiety and doing things like this. Take a look.
Hello, Michaela. I'm going to tell you why I decided to post this video, let alone that I received hundreds of tags on it within the past day and a half. I had to really pray this morning before posting this video. Here's why.
Why?
They let you wear that shirt here?
Yes. Why?
So,
why are you taking my picture?
Why are you wearing that shirt? You're working.
It's not a Target red shirt. I can wear any red shirt.
It's not a plain shirt.
It doesn't have to be
It's a Charlie Kirk shirt.
Yes. Oh, yes, I know.
Are you fucking stupid?
No.
Why the fuck would you wear that? You're at work at Target. That's not a Target shirt. It's not a plain red shirt. You support a racist.
It's not racist.
You support a racist.
He's not a racist.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he fucking is.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stand here and argue with you.
You're not. You should go get your manager. You should not be allowed to wear that at work. Unacceptable. Unfucking acceptable.
That's your opinion.
No, the opinion is he's a fucking racist and you support him.
That's your opinion, ma'am.
And you should not be allowed to wear that. This is going to be taken above your fucking head. That's insane. Insane.
Have a nice day.
The reason why I decided to post this is because I don't think that elderly woman who was just doing her job that day realized who she was speaking to. Not that anyone should be afraid of anybody else, but given your track record, I could see how this could have potentially gone south very quickly, because some individuals with a criminal record like disturbing the peace or battery against a spouse, abuse or endangerment of the health of a child, criminal threats, assault with force likely to cause great bodily injury, or the violation of protective orders. I notice how individuals like yourself love to prey on the weak, love to prey on those that don't need to explain to you why they're doing certain things. I can see how they are your main targets. And what worries me the most is that this could have potentially gone a whole different way. You met up with someone that wasn't going to argue with you. You met up with someone that is beyond that age of this nonsense that you brought to Target and decided to post online, even though you almost immediately began to receive backfire from it and decided to take down that video. My worry or concern is that not only that you are a healthcare worker in the state of California, but I don't know how I feel about entrusting individuals to someone like you. What if the patient coming in is a Trump supporter? What if they're wearing a freedom shirt upon coming into that hospital? How will your treatment of this patient vary depending on who they decide to support or not? And proven by the video you decided to post and the entire rant that you went into to attack this, elderly individual that had a shirt that you didn't agree with, and you began to put slurs to that name and completely unaware of where she actually stands with certain things. You decided to call her a racist and other things in your video. It's been brought to my attention that the police are involved now, because unbeknownst to you, what you did is a potential law violation. Because according to Penal Code 368 in the state of California, what you did would fall under a potential category of elderly abuse. And by the looks of it, I don't think that's going to be taken lightly. I truly hope that all this backlash that you're receiving may not put you in the state of victimhood of boo-hoo me, but rather in the state of enlightenment to where you're able to have an epiphany, a sudden moment of realization that what you did and how you've handled your life so far should not be acceptable. There's got to be a change to how we address the differences in our community, because that just wasn't it.
Now, a lot of people have been asking questions about Brandon Tatum, and I don't know him, and I'm not going to simply follow him just because he claims to be a conservative, a Christian, and he's black, because he is living in the same pocket as Candace Owens and everybody else that claims to be a political commentator on YouTube. This lovely person is named Rochelle Leah. She is one of the daughters of Rabbi Shmuley, and she recently did a podcast interview with Brandon Tatum, where she goes on to voice her opinion about Candace Owens and what she's doing, throwing all kinds of defamatory statements at Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's own wife. Candace Owens was trying to open the door to have a reason to talk about Erica Kirk and to look into her. And she did exactly that. In her recent shows, since sitting down and meeting with Erica for 4.5 hours, she even has some military guy who has since been exposed and debunked as honest or truthful over on X. You can go check that out yourself. He implicates seeing Erica Kirk with a congressman and other high-ranking military officials at a military base coming out of a meeting when he was there for something unrelated. Also, Candace Owens has been talking about a lot of the things going around on X, digging into Erica Kirk and her prior dating life. But simply, Brandon Tatum sat down with Rochelle Lee and he refused to say anything about what Candace Owens is choosing to do and say in her own show, which she has a very large platform. She's also on TikTok, so I'm really happy to see that her following is growing because she deserves it. She's a beautiful, beautiful human. But here, what you're seeing on the screen is a private message that Brandon Tatum had sent to Rochelle after they had recorded and she had posted her interview with him. He is asking her to take that down, because she is saying that Candace Owens is evil, she's vile, she's doing these horrible, despicable things. And he addresses, I did not know beforehand that you are a daughter of Rabbi Shmuley, that he has opposed many of his views, which is actually not true. You can go look it up yourself. Rochelle herself went and looked it up, never found anything of him opposing her father. And she's right. She loves her dad, but she and her father are two different people with two different views. So when they were talking, he likely felt like he was being set up or something to denounce Candace Owens, which he refuses to do in any capacity. You can still love somebody, you can still be in business with somebody, and you can still say that what they are doing and things that they have said and lies that they have been caught in time and time again are wrong. In fact, if you are in business with somebody, if you do love them and care about them, and you care about their husband and their 4 very small children, if you care about their platform, that would be the first thing you would do. You don't placate. You don't ass kiss. You don't do and say whatever you have to do to stay on their good side. Because you know what they say, betrayal only comes from those you trust, never your enemies. But the truth is not a betrayal. It's love. And no good relationship or friendship can be built on love if there's no truth. And you can't seek any truth if you have no love. But he essentially asks her to remove everything with him and the interview with him off of her platforms, which had already been posted to her platforms, and I'm glad she did not take it down. And the reason why this is bombshell is because he is trying to backtrack, because his merchandise print company is the company where Candace Owens gets all of her merchandise done for her website and her YouTube channel. So Brandon Tatum owns that little print company that makes her mugs and her t-shirts and her hats. Whether they share security, a producer, an editor for their YouTube channel, a manager, I don't know. But I do know this. He is absolutely in business with Candace Owens. That's why he won't go against her. He's going to kiss her ass and placate her and be in her pocket as long as they are in business together and he's making money. But he shares this on X and says, this breaks my heart. Pray for Erica. Pray for me. too. I'm sorry, what? Are you trying to usurp somebody's deceased husband's homicide? He quite literally is narcissistically and sociopathically telling you to pray for a widow whose husband and father of their 3 and 1 year old was killed in front of thousands of people. And he's trying to compare pray for me to, as if that has anything to do, how you're feeling has anything to do with what his wife and widow, the mother to his children, must be going through. Yeah, you might be sad. I wasn't necessarily a fan of Charlie Kirk, and I did not appreciate, and I was very vocal about how people were celebrating. It's not about if you agree with Charlie Kirk or not. It's about the fact that I'm not okay with anybody else taking the action that 22-year-old man, Tyler James Robinson, took that day, simply because he didn't agree with Charlie Kirk and he wasn't man enough to go down there and face him and actually prove him wrong on a microphone. I don't agree with the act of violence. I don't agree with murder. I don't agree with that level of crime that was committed, of taking somebody's life. I don't agree with that kind of act of violence. No matter what you think or feel about another person, he didn't deserve to die that way. He didn't deserve to die at all. But trying to put yourself, quite literally inserting yourself in the same sentence as a grieving widow over her husband's casket. Now I understand why he is close to Candace Owens. But Raquel is the daughter of Rabbi Shmuley. And Rabbi Shmuley recently had this to say about Ben Shapiro, who addressed Candace Owens and denounced her at AmFest on stage. Take a listen to what he has to say.
So as Times Square begins to transition to 2026, and you'll see the ball drop right from up there. You see it's already there, the glittering ball. I just want to say to my friend Ben Shapiro, Yasher Koch, thank you, Ben, for finally coming out and speaking out against Candace Owens. Look, me and Ben were good friends, and then we had a bit of a falling out because he wouldn't fire Candace Owens after she started praising Hitler in 2019. And I asked him behind the scenes, and I asked him through friends, and I asked him in every way that I could. But that's all the past, because now he's done it. He gave an amazing speech at TPUSA, and they're all ganging up on him now, and I'm going to help him. My issue with Ben was one thing. You cannot be Dr. Frankenstein, create this monster called Candace Owens, and leave it to Shmuley Boteach and others, and my daughter Rachalea to clean up. I'm the one who took on Candace Owens. I'm the one who got her fired. But Ben, you've now joined the fight. You're back in the fight, thank God. We can never forget, no matter if you're a conservative activist, TPUSA, the Jewish people come first. And fighting anti-Semitism comes first. And fighting for Israel comes first. So Ben, welcome to the fight. Let's work together. And guys, fighting between Jews should not exist unless someone betrays Israel. And that's over now. And I'm so happy that he's joined us. Ben, let's fight together to bring Candace down. She's a hater like no other. God bless.
And Raquel, Rabbi Shmuley's daughter, is not the only high-profile daughter that Candace Owens has targeted or came after.
I guess I'm just confused because Candace said she wasn't into celebrity culture. So then I thought maybe it was just a personal thing. If it's not about a celebrity, but maybe I just got that wrong. I don't know what else I can respond to about that. People can listen to, can I finish? Thank you. People can listen to the 26-minute. Like, you can say, oh, I said something nice at the end. It's the same thing when you say these things and your tone is off. You can be like, oh, tone doesn't matter, but you say things sometimes in a bit of a manipulative fashion to get people to think a certain way. And then when people bring them up, you go, well, those aren't the words I said, but tone matters too. Anyway, people can go on YouTube and listen to the 26-minute section of your video on Dad and see what they think. I think it's high school mean girl tactics. I don't care if you think that's ad hominem either.
Candace?
Well, I would just say that when I was referring to celebrity culture, I meant worshiping people because they're celebrities. So I think that would make me ideologically consistent. And like I said, he was trending that day. I covered it as a trending topic. It's not a mean girl thing, but it might feel that way to you because it's your father and you have a personal relationship. You know, I can apologize if you are hurt from me covering the news. But like I said, we have to develop a thicker skin when we're in the public. How many things are said about me routinely on a daily basis? If people want to cover after I have, you know, an addiction and people say, hey, after this, I think people lost faith in Candace Owens and that becomes a trending topic. I think that's fair game. It may not feel good to me, but I think that it would be fair game and it would be newsworthy.
Okay.
You do know that 1/5 of Americans are on psych meds, right? Are you aware of the statistics?
Yes.
Are those all people with
Correct.
addictions? Like, is that your view of people on psych meds just in general?
No, your father spoke out about his benzo addiction. So I don't understand why you're asking me a question about people that take psych meds.
Benzodependence. Maybe you don't know anything about this. If you're on a psych med long term, you form a dependence on it, and it's very difficult to get off of. They're starting to teach this in medical school. It's a disaster because so many Americans are on psych meds. So yeah, he suffered from psych med withdrawal because they make you form a dependence on it, especially long term. Now, calling it an addiction as if he was on heroin or something is manipulative. You know, so when we talked about it and we were very honest about what was going on, part of it was to spread awareness that 1/5 of Americans are on medications that cause dependence and don't know it. It's horrible. People die because of it. So I think laughing about it is like, it's not cool.
I certainly don't think I laughed at it. I think benzodependence is pretty much a euphemism for an addiction. And if you know anything about my work and me being super crunchy and speaking about why I think medicines are bad because they do create dependencies, which then yield people going onto the streets for something stronger. I mean, the benzo addiction becomes a heroin addiction because the doctor won't write you the prescription anymore. So you turn to the streets for something stronger because your body is dependent on it. I'm sorry that, again, you are offended by this conversation simply because it is your father. I don't think I've been offensive in my language. And if you find it to be manipulative, that I think that it impacted the way that men saw him when they publicly were saying that on Twitter. We covered the tweets that people were writing on that day about how, you know, they used to idolize him. They're so grateful for his book, but this is not the person that they knew. Again, I'm sorry you're offended by that, but it's just the reality of what happened. And I can tell this is a sensitive topic for you, but it is what it is, Michaela. I don't know what to say. I don't think anybody's laughed at it. I think it's a good conversation to be had. And no one is more anti-Big Pharma than me. I mean, I have an entire series against Big Pharma. So
I don't even know where to start with that. You know, benzo addicts will go to the street for heroin. We were trying to spread awareness about psych med withdrawal. And we were very honest about what everybody was going through. I went through psych med withdrawal myself. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. It kills people, causes akathisia, which makes people suicidal. It's a terrible side effect. So that's what we were talking about. Now, if you want to twist that a little bit and be like, he's losing his audience because he's an addict.
And that is Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson's daughter. And I love the fact that she just gave it to Candace Owens, and Candace Owens was trying to placate with the nice tone and I'm sorry if you feel that way. My words weren't meant to come across like that. I'm still not going to take accountability or responsibility for my facts being wrong, for my allegations being wrong. But I'm so sorry you feel that way, that was your takeaway from what I said. Never mind that Candace Owens is a bitch and she just simply says things so rude and condescendingly because she's a narcissist. She's a sociopath. And there is nothing covert about Candace Owens, her actions, words, choices, and behaviors. She quite literally screams it in everybody's face, and people are dumb enough to actually buy her shit. How? Meanwhile, really hardworking people day and night who don't have that capacity to treat other people like that, to talk to or about other people like that, they're just so overlooked because it's not drama. It's not salacious enough. The truth doesn't get views unless somebody has something crazy to go with it. Well, fuck your crazy, fuck your drama, fuck your salaciousness. If that's what it takes to get your hard work paid at a decent and fair rate, let alone to become a multi-millionaire who never has to worry about anything again, you're only doing a YouTube show to placate your psychological egoism, your megalomania, your ego, because you need the psychological and emotional validation of feeling like you belong, of feeling like you're important, like feeling like you're a celebrity. Never even stopping and thinking about what you're leaving behind in the world, what you're putting out in the world, and how that affects and effects other people. But of course, Ben Shapiro had a lot to say about Candace Owens on the stage at AmFest, and this is what Candace Owens clapped back, and this is hilarious. And the reason why it's hilarious is because I really dislike Candace Owens. I used to be a huge fan of hers until the Charlie Kirk murder. I started really paying attention and opening my eyes to the things she was saying and doing, and I'm like, have I really been listening to this all these years? Yes, I have, but I'm not a huge fan of Ben Shapiro, not because I disagree or agree with him, just not a fan. But the fact that he got under her skin so much is what literally made my day, because her verbal and psychological physiological response to Ben Shapiro saying what he did in front of the whole world watching. The whole of the internet, including all of her fans, tells me that he deeply wounded and fractured her ego. But I want you to take a listen to her response. No, I'm not kidding. Check this out.
Attempting to bankrupt me in courts, sending undercover interns to stalk me. He has issued thus far 3 court proceedings, okay, for every solitary petty infraction against things that I say. He's worked with Gary Weiss behind the scenes to have articles written about me. It is non-stop. As you pretend that you care about free speech and debate.
Yeah, Candace Owens doesn't care about free speech or debate because she doesn't debate anybody. She cares about using free speech to get away with slandering, libeling, defaming, throwing conspiracy theories, unfounded allegations, and false allegations against real people. And that is what everybody is referring to. Nobody wants to stop her from being a YouTuber. Nobody wants to take away her free speech or her platform. People just don't want her doing the harm that her actions, words, choices, and behaviors are inflicting on real people. That's it. That's all.
I've put up with a lot of it, but today I draw the line. I draw the line with this miserable imp when it comes to Charlie Kirk, okay? Don't try me on this, but you keep trying me on this. You are an imposter, Ben. You're an imposter.
No, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA. Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is and we are all more for having heard it.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. So, yeah, I don't have to say we don't know when it comes to you. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. You know those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people saying, what is happening? Why is he on this stage? Standing against everything that Charlie believed in. That's what you're doing. You're standing against everything that Charlie believed in.
Ironically, so are you, Candace.
Because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you.
And he wasn't your friend, and he didn't like you. He didn't even follow you on Instagram, and he let you go from Turning Point USA while still protecting you from the truth and any kind of reputational harm so you can go independent. Remember, YouTube had her banned for nearly a year before she was able to monetize again and get her website going. The majority of her money is made on YouTube. A lot of her followers to her website and her book club come from YouTube, but her YouTube platform is also where she is saying and doing the things that cause real life harm to others. The first text message she showed between her and Charlie Kirk, the recent one, you could see at the very top of the exchange that it said possible contact Charlie, because she didn't even have his updated phone number in her contacts. That's how not close they were. It's been over 3 months. Approaching 4, and she still hasn't shown the real text messages between her and Charlie, undoctored, in full, as a recording or screenshot, especially after teasing that she was going to drop them on her website. Yet she never did it. Never did it at all.
For that very reason, I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her? We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. You believe that you are contract lords and that people are not allowed to violate contracts or you will ruin them for years. You fire someone and you effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world.
now. I just like Candace Owens, but I ain't even gonna lie. That was fucking amazing to see how Ben Shapiro really got under her skin, especially since he fired her too, and so did PragerU and Turning Point USA. She's so mad that he was up on Charlie's stage at AmFest and she was not. But the internet works so fast. That is so funny. She called him a worm, a miserable imp, and the midget horse that he rode in on. Ben Farquaad from the Daily Shrek. But in all seriousness, why do Ben Shapiro and Brett Cooper literally look like the same person? I've always thought this, and I've always found it extremely strange just how similar their hair, the hair color, their facial features, everything except for the tip of the nose looks so identical. Could you imagine if these two ever produced offspring? But the next clip I want to show everybody is Candace Owens, since meeting with Erica Kirk, has not shut up about Erica Kirk, going into her dating life and all of the stuff over on X and letting this military guy come up and implicate her in her own husband's death, or at least having a meeting with a congressman and high military officials. But I want you to take a listen to what Candace Owens has to say about that, because this is exactly the type of psychological manipulation and tactic for content that she does. She is encouraging and promoting people into looking into Erica Kirk, her mother, her background, her mother's military affiliations, Erica Kirk's Romanian charity, Erica Kirk's previous dating history, Charlie's dating history, which she has insanely talked about. But this is her manipulation tactic. This is what she does. She wants you to go do all of her dirty work so she can, by proxy, use all of the materials and facts that people have found in her own content to talk about it, to show it, and to further drive a deeper dive into Erica Kirk. But why would Candace Owens do that, you ask? I'm going to tell you why. Because she's a sociopath and a narcissist, and she's jealous of Erica Kirk. That is, at the very least, very obvious and evident, because she's obsessing over talking about Erica Kirk nearly every single show. Take a listen.
At that time, someone had mentioned to me, hey, did you see what's going viral right now on X? Which is that Erica Kirk lied about having not dated anybody before Charlie Kirk. And actually, I knew that she had dated somebody before Charlie Kirk, and I had never known that she had made that claim, and people were starting to make all of these videos about it and wondering if she had misremembered or whether or not she was telling an intentional lie about her past. Now, what I can say is that there does seem to be disparity between her version of events and other people's version of events.
Next thing you know, she's going to be riding the DICK of Erica Kirk. She thinks because she's CEO of Turning Point USA that she's fair game now. Because according to Candace, Erica Kirk has to earn her place like Charlie Kirk did. No, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA are going to have a struggle because their host and their CEO and founder died. Erica Kirk is not Charlie Kirk. Stop trying to hold her to a degree and standard of which he met. They are not the same person. They're not even the same gender. That was her husband. We have to trust in the fact that she knew him best. She knew his vision best. And she is the best one to take over. And she has. And to me, her prior dating history, it's irrelevant. We didn't know Charlie's intimate details of his dating history, because they're irrelevant. But what she's doing here is using these little things to imply and implicate in the public's mind even further that Erica Kirk is a liar, that she's trying to hide or cover up things. Has Candace Owens, under her LLC or her husband's LLC, which are both registered in Delaware, did they show you their financial report or their financial records over how much she makes on her website, who manages her website, how much she makes on YouTube through live gifts or monetization or anything like that? But she expects to be able to look into Erica and Turning Point USA in that way. And notice they all have the same sponsors and the same advertisers. So they're quite literally working for the same people, except for Erica Kirk has a real nonprofit organization behind her, whereas Candace doesn't.
Definitively at that meeting, obviously, I've already intimated that to you, like Andrew Colvett has a memory, Erica Kirk has a memory, and then the surgeon has a memory, right? I should also mention that the surgeon said, and again, this is through a third-party person, so it's not a direct line between me and the surgeon, that he absolutely did not violate HIPAA when he suggested, hey, maybe it's a frangible bullet, but rather that it was a three-way call with him and Andrew and Erica. I don't know if he's telling the truth or if Erica's telling the truth and Andrew Colvett was flying blind. But, there's a disparity. And as I was looking at this, I sort of went, oh, wait, yeah, I do remember that Charlie told me about Cabot Phillips dating a girl. For some reason, I thought it was Sammy, the other girl that he had a crush on. And I was like, was it Erica? That's so funny. I'm trying to remember this. And then I saw a picture in somebody's TikTok of Cabot Phillips. I hadn't seen him in a very long time, and he works for the Daily Wire. And he had a beard. And that was the thing that he kept saying to me, is this guy had a beard. He's around 37. Anyways, I sent him the picture of Cabot Phillips, and he says, yes, that's the person I remember being at the base. Now I'm like, that would be totally crazy. Maybe, again, this could be a lookalike. And so I messaged Cabot Phillips and did not get a response. I messaged Cabot Phillips twice today, actually, and asked him if he wanted to have an off-record conversation, because we can't just take that to the bank. Like I said, I am terrible with faces. So if I saw Cabot Phillips, I had to just from memory, there's 30,000 other people I would say it was definitely him too. And I can't trust Mitch's vision on this, but it at least is compelling. And I was like, let me do some basic fact checks here. What do I even know about this guy, Cabot Phillips? And I know that he does the Morning Wire at the Daily Wire. And I checked, and he's missing from the Morning Wire. He doesn't do it daily, but he does it enough times that I noticed that he is missing from September 4th to the September 10th on that show. And so I am looking to see, to just debunk or remove him from the picture, that and maybe to get a clearer understanding that maybe, Mitch thinks he remembers things. I mean, he's super detail oriented, telling me what kind of watch the person was wearing, because he was like, I was going to go up to him and I was going to say something. But I'm going, I don't know anything about actually Cabot Phillips. And it was very difficult to find any information outside of his father, who I found a lot of information about. Actually, he's a pretty big guy, taking a lot of money from the Adelsons, and he's definitely a neocon. I'll tell you that for free. So I thought, could this be the reason that, in my back of my mind, could this be the reason that Ben's having some sort of a weird spiral? Does he know something? Or is this just a case, and it could be, just be very clear, it could be a full case of Mitch misremembering, but I didn't give him the context. I didn't say this is Erica's ex-boyfriend from 2017. And I just found that to be interesting. And yeah, so I don't know what the reason would be to say that you didn't date someone. You did. And I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand that at all. And the internet did pull this up, which I think we can show that. Yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. There's a lot of social media activity between her and his family. I was also really compelled by how close she is with her cousin, this Nicole Rothstein, who defends her in the comments currently, by the way, and says, Erica, people were asking why it seems like now there's this bend towards Israel. And Nicole Rothstein was like, I'm her cousin. She's half Jewish. I did not genuinely, I did know that she was part Jewish. I don't know about any of this at all, but it is interesting that they had a relationship, and I don't know why that's being wiped from the memory. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship before you find love of your life at all. And so I'm hopeful that we can get some answers. And that's why I asked them publicly. When I can't get answers privately, I ask them publicly. Do you want to know why? Because I have a right to ask questions. And like I said, I don't like the way Ben is signaling that he doesn't want people looking into Erica. Okay. And when people start looking in, they then find that a Daily Wire employee dated her. So that seems interesting, to say the very least. And we should figure out, what's actually going on. What is actually going on? He even says the Mossad. I never once said the Mossad killed Charlie Kirk. So was that by accident? Definitely starting to think in a major way that Israel's got something to do with killing Charlie Kirk. And the Egyptian planes, which we are putting the final touches on, because I don't want there to be even one typo or mistake on this, that we're going to put up on our website. It leads you to Israel. It just does, okay? There's no question. That's why they were panicking about the Egyptian planes Fort Huachuca is involved in.
These next videos that I am going to show you under fair use is a creator over on TikTok who has been digging into Erica Kirk. And she has done a recent video showing that Candace Owens has commented under her videos. And she is promoting and pushing her to keep making her content because she does a lot of content in favor of Candace Owens. And this is exactly what she does with mainstream media to manipulate mainstream media into putting her name in the headlines. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. All of the PR, especially bad PR, is good PR because it gets more people over to your website and your channel. Like I said, it's psychological manipulation because it psychologically makes somebody want to go watch Candace Owens and to want to see what she's saying, instead of doing what would be the normal thing, starving her of all views if you want her platform gone. But I personally don't want that. I just wish she would stop hurting real people, but she's a sociopath. She's a narcissist, but she's never going to change. Like most sociopaths and narcissists, they are going to live and die still doing the same exact things they always have. They want to get famous and rich no matter what, even if it's for nothing, no talent, just like the Kardashians. But I want you to take a listen because she has been digging into Erica.
So Erica Kirk's ex is what? Taking over for Charlie Kirk? I'm sorry, are we supposed to pretend that this is normal? Because this is very odd to me. A lot of you guys had been commenting for me to look into Cabot Phillips. So apparently Cabot Phillips is Erica Kirk's ex-boyfriend. And he now is doing TPUSA How to Lead Like Charlie conferences, like at universities. Interesting. And no, they weren't just friends, they were a couple. He literally captioned this September of 2017. Yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. And ironically enough, September of 2017, he also was hanging out with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk had posted this with Cabot Phillips. Yes, I beat Cabot one-on-one, not sick of winning. September 24th, 2017. And in November of 2017, she wrote to Cabot, since this is where it all started, I only found it appropriate to wish you a very happy birthday, Cash Cab, your catfish. And there's a lot of comments about them like being a couple. June of 2017, gorgeous couple. Beautiful photo. October 2017, someone posted this replying to Cabot and Erica saying lovebirds. And this also now brings us to the point that Erica's math is not mathing when she talks about her relationship. During a CBS News town hall with Erica Kirk, she revealed that she did not date while living in New York for 5 years before she met Charlie in 2018. Well, that's interesting. Now know that she was definitely dating Cabot Phillips most of 2017, it seems. But yeah, the whole How to Lead Like Charlie, and that's literally his grieving widow's ex, is very odd. Like, you couldn't pick anyone else. So Erica Kirk actually had 2 boyfriends within the 5 years before meeting Charlie Kirk. So why lie about this? Before we talk about the 2 boyfriends, let's watch this clip where Erica Kirk is lying to us.
I lived out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
I do want to pause here and talk about Erica Kirk on Summer House. Mind you, she was on season 3, which was filmed the summer of 2018. And apparently her and Charlie did start dating the summer of 2018 as well.
Cheers, everyone.
This is ridiculous.
I also
This
really enjoy these straws.
Okay, that's good.
I think you're a bright light in a very dark place.
So let's go grab a mojito. Yeah. Totally attracted to it. Can I get your number?
Yeah.
How do you text with those nails that long too?
They're real.
I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another.
I don't think Erica found that strange because I think she did the same thing. It's called dating. No one's bashing that, but I don't know why she's lying about it. And yesterday we talked about Cabot Phillips, who she dated in 2017, and it seems like they dated for the majority of the year in 2017. And yes, it's Cabot Phillips who apparently is doing the How to Lead Like Charlie college tours for TPUSA now. Interesting. But there's also another boyfriend. His name is Tyler Massey, and she dated him in 2015. Here we have them doing Fashion Week in Phoenix together. And in the caption to this photo posted by Jack Nicole, so Jack Nicole was the designer of Erica's outfit, hashtag this photo cute couple. And here's some more photos that were posted on Twitter. Another photo, okay, another one too, because these two are just so wonderful, hashtagged in love. This was posted March of 2015. Caption, prepping another couple's gallery for delivery. So why lie in this interview that's like a week old? This video is for anyone saying that Candace Owens is a sellout after the Erica Kirk meeting. I really don't think you can say that after today's episode. You know, the episode where basically they're letting us know that Erica Kirk was possibly at Fort Huachuca the day before Charlie died. But before we get into that, I want to talk about a comment that she left on one of my videos. The day that Candace Owens had posted her video after her meeting with Erica Kirk, I had posted 2 videos. The first one was literally me being like, something is off, like this doesn't seem like Candace. But then I tuned into her live, or clips from her live, and I was like, okay, this is more like Candace. Like, this just sounds like Candace, like, talking to us, like she normally does. And she said, thanks for this video. People don't realize how exhausted I was after a meeting for 5 hours where all I had was a notebook. I mean, I was wrecked the next day and had no idea how to compress 5 hours into one episode. I'm still processing and remembering things. I probably should have taken another day off, but I did not want to make people wait. Lesson learned. I actually can completely understand this. I do think she probably should have taken more time to herself, like to sit down with her thoughts, with her notes, and then come back to us. But also, I do understand the pressure of not making us wait because so many people were posting videos that day like, oh my God, I can't wait until we hear from Candace. Would a sellout bring on an eyewitness who allegedly saw Erica Kirk at Fort Huachuca? I don't think so.
If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put it at?
95. Okay. 95 to 99. There was some other pictures that came up with other people.
What other people?
There's a picture of Erica Kirk with a ponytail and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before. She was with that man in the lobby. And that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
To put it at a percentage that you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erica Kirk, what percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes. That's 95 to 99%. I can't imagine somebody else.
And yes, she is the new CEO of Turning Point USA. She was Charlie Kirk's wife, and she is the mother to his 3-year-old and 1-year-old. Candace Owens and other people may feel that she is free game, but I still don't see the relevancy of digging into her prior dating history. She was allegedly in her early 30s when she and Charlie married. Of course, she had a dating history, and it was very likely that Charlie Kirk had a dating history. That doesn't mean anything. They found each other, they married, they produced 2 children, charities, nonprofit organizations, and extensions of such. And like I have always told you, they are all friends behind the scenes. Candace Owens, as I covered in my other video showing you behind the scenes at Tucker Carlson's party for Thanksgiving/Christmas. Candace Owens was there, but so was a lot of employees for Turning Point USA. And Candace Owens, she's a truth teller, but she omits a whole lot of truth from her audience. And before I get to the clip proving that these political commentators in the conservative movement are all friends, despite telling you this for weeks because I myself have a source, I want you to take a listen to what Megyn Kelly had to say after telling everybody in the audience to fuck off in regards to Ben Shapiro. Take a listen.
That Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, which shows a willful blindness about his position in it. It reminded me a little of when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me. Chorus? Head cheerleader maybe, but like, so I resent the whole thing. I object to the whole thing. Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people he once called out. So he both wants to parent me and be my child. He wants to tell me what I have to do and who I have to say what to. And then when I don't, he and some of his friends want to act like utter victims because I won't do what they say. They need me. I have to be their daddy and step in to protect them. And I am not their daddy. And I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you. So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel. And I helped make him a star. And I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot. And so I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And thank you.
Repeatedly tell the world that Brigitte Macron is a man. As you now know,
And she is.
She's a woman.
She's not a woman.
Well,
Everybody
I've actually
knows
been very
Brigitte
critical
Macron
of the Israeli
has a
government.
penis, okay?
And I think you
Brigitte
did that.
Macron has a penis. I really want
Brigitte
you to know
Macron
that.
does
Here's the
not have a
important.
penis.
Brigitte Macron has a
No,
penis.
she doesn't.
I'm sorry.
She had three children.
Did she get it removed?
She had three
Did he
children.
Get it removed? I want you to know that Brigitte Macron probably stands peeing up. Probably pees standing up is what I want you to know.
The beauty is we have a big bet.
I think Brigitte
we have
stands.
a big bet.
Do you stand peeing up? I know I don't stand peeing up. I do pee sitting down. Oh, by the way, this is the music video. I found it and I also did a short. I also posted it over on X. Candace allegedly also did Lil Yachty's music video for his song Strike. She did a small cameo as a judge in a courtroom. However, when I reached out for comment, it looks like it never made the final cut. So that's not just one, that's two music videos, including Young Steph featuring Mario. But here's something funny. Candace Owens allegedly has issues with yeast infections. Has she talked about this? Can chronic yeast infections cause brain damage like untreated syphilis does? Maybe that mold exposure years ago made Candace crazy and stupid. If you didn't know, out of high school, she had a really expensive, like $3,600 a month luxury apartment. And she was leaving her air conditioner on and the windows open, creating the conditions for mold. And then she was trying to sue that management company of her apartment. And she ended up having to pay them back like $20,000 some odd dollars in back rent, damages, and lawyer fees. She thought she was going to win $37,550 like she did in high school. I've done a whole video going over all of the lawsuits of Candace Owens during her lifetime. She loves to use the legal system to try to win big money. Okay, there's one more thing before I get to the clip I really want to show you. Breaking news. Blake Neff just dropped the ultimate truth bomb on Candace Owens with somebody that Candace Owens hates and tries to take their platform by defaming them. There clearly was not an interest in seeking the truth. Some people just enjoy hurting others. Asking questions to pursue truth versus asking questions to draw blood. He just drew the line in the sand. This one's going to sting for a while, but take a really good look at who is asking those questions. Listen.
A lot of the controversy that's surrounded Charlie and his death and a lot of the conspiracy theories, obviously, you plan to debunk a lot of the things that Candace was saying. What has that been like for you, even just personally, to feel like people are running with fiction?
It's frustrating. It's challenging. It leads to real pain. I think that's why I certainly wanted us to respond to it. That it was so painful to see people I knew personally, who I knew had done nothing wrong, both done nothing wrong and never sought the spotlight in any way.
Yeah.
That they were good employees, good helpers, good friends to Charlie, and entirely because of that, for them to be singled out for incredibly nasty attacks. And there was a comparison that we made when we were making that initial response, that so much of what was said and done, it was so similar to what the worst people in Antifa do, where they take this real delight in tormenting people. And I just have to say, for a lot of them, there clearly was not an interest in seeking the truth, as they would say. There clearly was, for some people, an element that they enjoyed hurting people and they liked to find an excuse to do that.
Well, there's only one narcissist and sociopath who loves hurting other people. Psych, there's millions. Candace Owens is just cliche and predictable because she is one. That is how we are able to call out her next move so easily, because of her pattern of negative and bad behavior, especially using words. But shout out to the JWhit Podcast, because this is what I want to show you. This proves what I've told you all along, because insiders know that this is the truth. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, everybody that you think is a political commentator or a conservative political commentator on YouTube, especially people that were fired from Fox or CNN, The Daily Wire, PragerU, Turning Point USA. They all are friends behind the scenes. Take a listen to an open source who was there at Tucker Carlson's Thanksgiving/Christmas party and what he had to say.
Candace Owens was there. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson. I hate to say this out loud. Everybody friends. Everybody friends. There. Yeah. But I go, okay, what? I don't want to help. I don't want to spur on any kind of. But they go, he is unfortunately he has passed.
That's wild, man. I don't even know why we having that conversation
about it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The fact that you weren't just laughed at for asking that question.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. That's really the only thing I wanted to get. I go, because I'm trying to do some recon.
Yeah.
Listen. Wow. Because I got some people I got to report to. They got to go, hey, what's happening? You know how the people that you get into the thing, and I go, I talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
What is he talking
And everybody goes, everybody just friends with each other. And I think that, like, unfortunately, like, you think, you know, Nick Saban and whoever, they hate each other. And I go, I think just a lot of it goes, yeah, it's just kind of business.
It's business. It's just business for them. Their YouTube channel, their show, their content. But just a question. Is it business to stand peeing up?
Call a spade, honey. Keep making content.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Please like and share. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And I will catch you all on the next one. God bless you, and I love you all.
Are you familiar with what you call the Harry Potter series?